So the platform's built, I think one of the key things about the platform, it's built over kind of configure over development. So adding any new questions into the flow doesn't require a developer, doesn't require redeployment. And we support all kind of common form components and easy to use best practice design interface based on government standards. So we can support the GDS one, but here, because the deployment was for NatureScot, you can see the Scottish design system. And because of that, it means that the platform is able to adhere to the latest accessibility standards. So in this case, it's WCAG 2.2 AA compliant. So what this video will show you is a walkthrough of making an application within a protected area, answering a set of kind of key questions about the type of development they're looking to undertake, providing some kind of key supporting spatial information, and also uploading some supporting documentation. So we'll kick it off now. Due to the complex of subject matter, the platform needed to be able to be configured to support a range of different case types, kind of workflows and screens for a range of different stakeholders that need to consult with NatureScot. So that was all of the planning authorities in Scotland, SEPA, Transport Scotland, Marine Directorate, a whole kind of host of organisations. So here you can see that they're selecting to do one related to a triple SI. So one of the first things that we do is ask them about the spatial information. So here you can see we allow the user to either upload a shapefile if they have that from their own kind of their own corporate GIS systems. But we also allow the user to kind of draw their own boundaries on the kind of easy to use map interface. So here what we're doing is integrating with their corporate GIS and some Ordnance Survey background mapping to pull through dozens of layers and intersection rules. So here you can see it's pulling through the protected areas in that red crosshatch. When the user presses continue here, we're using those intersection rules because they intersect with a protected area. They're then asked a series of questions about the type of development that they're wanting to undertake, to understand its potential impact on that protected area. And sitting behind each of these kind of case types is its own decision tree. So that again enables applications to be easily and efficiently kind of filtered, managed and filter out those low risk cases. We allow them to upload some supporting documentation. And again, I'll show you how that is used as part of the triage assistant. This all goes straight into as virus scan goes into our S3 bucket within AWS. Here, we're just providing additional information about that kind of proposed operation and the proposed development, just to build up that kind of bank of information so that when we run it through the rule base, we'll just pause there actually, we run it through the rule base, we can quickly and easily give that decision back to the applicant. You can see here that there's kind of like the design systems and the common components and patterns, we play back to them a check your answers. So here, this just ensures that the user has submitted all of the correct information first time, to again reduce that back and forth between the applicant and the between the applicant and kind of NatureScot. So once they press submit, that's when we are determining the eligibility and giving that initial view of eligibility as quickly as possible. So here you can see that based on the information they have provided, NatureScot would need to consent the operations in this instance. Just again pausing here, and going back to some of those challenges, applicants weren't always clear if they need to apply to NatureScot for approval. So what we're doing here is using their kind of corporate GIS, we are pulling back the protected areas and within those the features, and link to that the guidance, so that it's always very clear and transparent to the user why they will need to then make the full application to NatureScot. So I will just kind of pause this one and finish this one here, rather than going through full start and application, because that's just providing kind of additional information to NatureScot to support their kind of decision making process. So what I'll now do, so I guess actually to summarize the application assistant before we move on, 25% of applications were filtered out, which previously would have required somebody to review them. NatureScot ran their own kind of independent survey of external stakeholders during the pilot, and it received a 22 out of 25 score for kind of ease of use. So much easier to use and clearer than their kind of previous like non-system based approach. And it also gave Nature Scott their first kind of Scottish Government Digital Standard compliant kind of service, which was obviously great for them as an organisation. So now what I will do is move over to the triage assistant, if that's okay. So now we've seen how an external applicant kind of submits. This will show you how a Nature Scott triage officer will kind of analyze and route the applications. Let me just grab this. I wanted to put, rather than go straight to the login. So again, what we do is we try and work with our kind of product partners. And previously, when we first launched it, we only provided kind of username and password access. But what they were saying was, actually, it'd be really useful if you could integrate with our Active Directory. So you could see there that we've done that for them, and that has been kind of fully rolled out now. So when you land, here is the dashboard, and you can see all of the kind of applications for triage. And I'll just kind of drill into one that I've kind of is a really nice example. So again, previously triage officers were having to monitor multiple inboxes, opening up lots of attachments. So here what we do is we present all of the information on a single page. So we've already got all of the sections expanded. So we play back to them the location information, protected areas, and the application details. So what the information kind of provided by the applicant. So just going back up here to the protected areas. What we're doing is kind of integrating with their corporate GIS. We're pulling through using intelligent spatial queries, all of the protected areas, and within those, the features that may be affected by the development and should be considered for the casework. Furthermore, coming down here, when we were uploading those documents as part of the external user journey, what we do with those is by using kind of AI, we take a pass through those documents and we identify kind of key themes relevant to the kind of customer organization. So in this case, Nature Scott, they're really interested in being able to pull out information relating to species and operations and habitat. So you can see here that the case clearly relates to an application which is going to be related to a wind turbines and will also be affecting potentially kind of seabirds. So by providing that information along with the protected areas, where it is on the map, the actual proposed development, and all of the kind of applicant responses here, we're very easily able to quickly allow the case officer, the triage officer, to triage the application and route it to the right team and individual. And based on this, during the pilot, Nature Scott, again independently, were reported that by having this kind of capability and pulling all the information into a single central location, it was able to reduce their average triage time down by about 50%, which again was a great kind of efficiency saving. Lastly, the decision assistant. Again, this has single sign-on, but I have just I've already shown you that, so I pre-prepared my username and password, reducing the chance of things going wrong. So on the decision assistant, this is really kind of the beating heart of the platform. We would always kind of say and really uses some quite advanced kind of AI and natural language processing techniques to help case officers find the relevant information to take better and kind of faster decisions. So previously, Nature Scott case officers were sometimes finding it was taking up to kind of sometimes days to pull together all of the right information for those complex cases in order to be able to even start taking a decision. So our platform automates all of that kind of repetitive manual work, providing decision makers with kind of instant access to all the information they require to kind of review and assess an application. What I'll do is I'll first go into my cases. And again, what we're doing is integrating with their case management system to provide decision makers with that kind of simple view of all the work that's been allocated to them. So I would have received an email telling me that I've got a case to go, that I've got a case to process and to log in and take a look at it. So we'll drill into the case now. So this was the case that we did just look at in the triage assistant. So you'll be able to see that it's got all of the same kind of information. Because they're experienced case officers, we allow them to add additional protected areas and again play back all of the information, both the applicant responses and the information that was captured at triage. But for the purpose of this demo, we'll first go into location information. So here we're playing back to the user the themes that were identified in the document, but the two real kind of key capabilities on this page are the case history and features. So firstly, the case history. So what we're doing here is plugging into their case management system to show a full history of all the cases for each of the protected areas that might be impacted by the development. And this provides, as you can see, kind of a detailed timeline of everything that's taken place over those protected areas so that case officers can consider kind of critical factors such as kind of cumulative impact over time. If I just hide this, we go down to kind of the features. So again, we're integrating with their GIS in this instance, and we're able to show the user the latest condition and historic trends of any features that might be impacted by the development. So you can see this one is not trending in the best of kind of states. And again, it just allows case officers to understand the kind of existing and historical conditions of the features based on those previous surveys and how this kind of new development may further impact on them. Next, we'll go to similar cases. So again, Nature's got their case officers spend a lot of time looking for similar cases within their case management system, and that was impacting on efficiencies, but it was also impacting on kind of consistency and precedent when it came to the decision-making process. This being particularly true for less experienced staff who might not know which cases are out there and what to look for. So by using natural language processing and clustering, we're able to automatically identify similar cases to the one under the review. So ones that have been submitted through the platform itself, but ones that maybe historically were submitted through their case management system, so that they can be instantly viewed down here. And all of the decisions that were taken on them viewed. So again, they can understand those key considerations and drive consistency. So you can see here it's being able to also pull out all of the protected areas that are impacted by this new application and allows the user to be able to filter on those themes that we pulled out before and the development types, which will then refine the results of the responses down here. Moving on to the responses themselves. So again, you can see there's a common thread through a lot of this. So this was all about kind of a lack of consistency, people using their own kind of writing styles and kind of not following the standard templates, reinventing the wheel kind of each time. So what we've done here is provide kind of a standard set of configurable response templates into which they can inject their own kind of case specific information. So opening one of these now, you can see here this is the standard template, and then anything in the brackets here, this is where they'll start to inject in their the specific case information related to the one that is currently kind of under review. So this drives consistency whilst also ensuring that there is a kind of human in the loop and the system isn't just kind of coming up with a response and just sending it out automatically. And there is the capability to be able to send for more complex cases, being able to draft a response and then send it and assign it to another caseworker for them to review. Lastly, quickly, conscious of time, is the kind of the document search. So they were spending lots of time searching through their corporate document store across their case management system to look for documents that might be relevant to cases. So this uses natural language querying to look across hundreds of thousands of historical unstructured documents to support the decision-making process. So if I just kind of ask it a question now, I can quickly get a response back to this and very easily within the first couple of results that get kind of returned, see and get a response to my question and then feed that into kind of the decision-making process.